Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of News for Normies, where I give you the week's worth of news in a somewhat short time frame. If you like what I do here, hit the like button, share with your friends, especially some normies in your life, as this is why I do this. And comment below, especially if I get something wrong, because I don't want to be, lying to you like CNN does. And follow me on all of the social media apps that I have pinned below. Especially if you're on YouTube. I appreciate you watching on YouTube, but I would like to see Rumble grow as they actually protect free speech. And that will lead me into my first story. Also, bear with me, I am getting over a sinus infection, cold, whatever this crap is that's going around. So, first story here. If you follow any news podcasts at all, I'm sure you're familiar with the name Tim Pool. But Tim Pool has announced that his media company, I guess you'd call it, has now joined Rumble Premium along with other content creators on there, such as Steven Crowder, Mr. Guns and Gear, and more, which makes Rumble even more of a free speech platform. If you're unfamiliar with Rumble, it's a video streaming service. Just like YouTube, it's a direct competitor to YouTube. And they do have a free version. Just make an account with your email account. You're logged in. But the premium version removes ads and gives you more content from the likes of Steven Crowder, who has, for the longest time, had the Mug Club as like the paid portion of their program, which is now Rumble Premium. And you're going to get more from Tim Pool. They do a free podcast every weeknight called Timcast IRL. But they always do an uncensored show afterwards where they, kind of speak their mind a little bit more without being censored and watching what they say. So this is awesome for Rumble and for free speech on the internet as well. And should you choose to sign up for Rumble Premium, you know that your money is going to a company that doesn't hate you. So that's awesome. Like I said, I would appreciate the views on Rumble as well, because I think YouTube needs to stop being so damn communist. But I also realize that you got to go where the people are, so that's why I put this on YouTube as well. Okay, so a quick little story before getting into some of the more meat and potatoes. Interestingly, the timing of this, since Trump has been inaugurated and has been in office for almost a month now, but the U.S. Army has come out and said they will no longer have transgender soldiers in their ranks. Now, that might sound transphobic or whatever, but in my opinion, this is kind of a no-brainer policy. Because, if you have people enlisted that could potentially be put on the front lines, you need to have competent people who know who and what they are to go in and, kick down doors and shoot bad guys in the face. It was funny, I was talking with a buddy of mine recently who is a veteran of the Marine Corps, so, the Marines and Army have different standards, but he was talking about how when he was in the Marine Corps, he had his wisdom teeth coming in, but they weren't bothering him at all. But because of the standards that the Marine Corps set, he had to go get them removed before he could be put back on, active duty or whatever. So they actually gave him an order to go get his wisdom teeth removed. So if you can't be on active duty while you have your wisdom teeth, even though they're not bothering you or causing you pain, I don't see how this is even more important than that, if that makes any sense. Anyway, gonna stop rambling and move on. So, gonna be talking about a lot of the Trump's nominees for his cabinet picks. Tulsi Gabbard was officially confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence. On one hand, I'm glad to see another one of Trump's picks finally be confirmed, but I also have some issues with Tulsi Gabbard. In the past, She has been very much for red flag laws and common sense gun control, but has since flipped on those views, I suppose. And just before she was nominated and like confirmed and all that stuff, she has been wishy-washy on her stances on FISA warrants, which, if you're unfamiliar with that, that just gives the government more power to spy on you on a daily basis. Especially like if you are traveling to Mexico, let's say, and your plane lands and you get out off the airport and you text your parents back home, hey, just got to Mexico, I'll see you in a couple days. Like, that is an opening for the FISA warrants and FISA spying to look into all your stuff. Huge problem, and is honestly, I think, unconstitutional because of the Fourth Amendment. So, having someone like that as director of national intelligence should give some people some pause and make you start asking some questions about her. Funny enough, there was only one Republican senator who voted against her, and that was none other than Mitch McConnell. So for my neighbors down south, just south of me in Kentucky, why do you keep voting for this dude? Like, he's old as dirt, he's fallen down the stairs, and clearly has mental decline as well. I know I talked about it last week. He's been on camera talking to the press and just locked up in what appears to be some kind of a seizure or something. So why? Why do you keep voting for him? I don't understand it. Kentucky, get your shit together. Moving on, much to the chagrin of Democrats, especially the likes of Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, who have, funny enough, taken a lot of money in donations from big pharma companies, RFK Jr. has been confirmed as Director of Health and Human Services. So this is awesome, I think, although I have some issues with that as well, because the last Director of Health and Human Services tried to say that gun violence is a national health emergency and tried to do some backdoor gun control stuff. And RFK Jr. has said in the past that he would be, for gun control laws as well. So, again, keep that in mind going forward. But I know his big thing is making America healthy again. So maybe going forward we will have, we'll have less fat blobs running around, or not even running around, just rolling around in the streets. Like the Michigan rapper I talked about last week, who is suing Lyft because she's too fat to fit in a car. Not going to get on that rant again. So Pam Bondi, the new Attorney General for the federal government, has announced charges against several New York Democrats for colluding with illegal aliens and breaking federal immigration laws. At this point, I want to see all these people in prison. At what point do we start, laying the hammer down on these people who are clearly not for us? Like, I don't know how you can defend illegal immigration and claim that it's good for the country. Yeah. Again, not getting on that rant. Gonna keep moving on. Speaking of illegal immigration, Tom Homan says that he will have people arrested who aid illegal aliens and hide them from ICE, including AOC, who has been on camera advising illegal aliens on how to avoid ICE. That's Immigration and Customs Enforcement, by the way, if you are unfamiliar. Homan has also alleged that there are leaks coming from within the FBI that have allowed violent criminals to evade the law in places like LA and Aurora, Colorado. So again, why do people who work for our country want violent gangs like Tren de Aragua to remain here? Lest I remind you, this Venezuelan gang took over apartment complexes in Colorado. To me, that is an invasion of a foreign enemy force, and all those people who seized territory in this country should be shot in the fucking face. End of story, dude. please argue with me if you want to. If you want, I would love to hear your asinine opinions on that one. But for people working within the FBI, leaking information to illegal aliens seems like sedition and or possibly treason to me, as cartels have now been designated as terrorist organizations. So, again, this is another reason why I think the FBI should just completely be abolished. I went on a rant about that last week. You can watch my last video if you want to hear more of my opinions on that. Pardon me while I take a drink of water. There's also a train coming by as I record this, so I apologize for any background noise. On the topic of illegal immigration, Mexico has given the okay for the 7th Special Forces Group from, the American military to come into Mexico and train their equivalent to our Marine Corps on, how to fight cartels. So this comes after Mexico has agreed to put more of their troops on the border to, curtail illegal immigration coming up through the U.S.-Mexico border. Hopefully this starts taking the fight back to the cartels, because they're just bad people. They're trafficking humans and drugs that are killing a lot of people here. They need to be wiped off the face of the earth too. Just my opinions. Oh, here we go. Old Elon Musk is at it again. So last week I talked about how Doge had uncovered a ton of wasteful spending from USAID, and now his team at Doge has uncovered the fact that FEMA sent $59 million to luxury hotels in New York to house illegal aliens, instead of spending that money on people in Hawaii, California, and North Carolina for relief after natural disasters struck in those 3 locations. On this note, several people high up in FEMA have also been fired because of this. Again, another organization that I think just needs to be shut down, because they're a waste of our tax dollar money, and they clearly they don't work for us anymore. So sorry, dude. If you work for FEMA and you're watching this, learn to code or learn to farm, because we're going to need people to pick the crops. Speaking of Doge, they have officially gone into the IRS to begin uncovering their fraud and waste of our money. At this point, it's funny to me that Democrats are actually defending the IRS, because, they're fucking communists and want all of your money. So that clearly shows you where their priorities lie. And I've probably talked about this before, but do y'all really think that the 87,000 new employees hired at the IRS under the Biden administration were actually going to go after the ultra rich, the same people that donate to the politicians to get them elected? If you actually believe that, you need to get your head examined, because that, just on the sniff test, that doesn't even make sense. But instead, they're going to, go after you if you send somebody $601 over Cash App. But because of the work of Doge in the IRS, thousands of layoffs have already occurred, and up to 200,000 more people could be cut from the agency. And I tell you, this cannot happen fast enough. I just want to see them all gone. I just, at this point, I just want to cut all this shit, man. In a similar fashion, a bill has been introduced to the U.S. House of Representatives, and that is HB 25, if you want to look more into it, that would eliminate all federal income taxes. Again, I am all for this, because the government steals your money and my money to spend on, transgender plays in Guatemala or other dumb shit like that. All right, moving on from illegal immigration and all that stuff. President Trump is set to put 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum coming into the U.S., hopefully bringing metal production back to the country. I think this is great news for companies like local steel manufacturer Cleveland Cliffs, located in Middletown, and they have other locations across the country as well, which is home of Vice President J.D. Vance. So I know the people that work there already work a lot. They are probably going to be hiring even more so soon. So, IRS people, if you're looking for a job, the steel mills are going to be probably churning out more steel here soon. So you could actually go do some real work for a change, not sit behind a computer and, dick around all day. In response to President Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland, the country of Denmark offered to purchase California for $1 trillion, which is honestly a major lowball offer, but that's beside the point. In a funny way, I'd like to see them take over California. That way the United States could invade, take it over, and clean house with all the corrupt government people there who have ran that state into the ground. However, I highly doubt that Denmark will actually buy California, and they're probably just trying to troll the U.S. a little bit here. So if that's the case, you all need to work on your trolling game because it's not all that funny. Since Trump announced his plan on dealing with the current Gaza situation, Egypt has put forth the first part of a plan from their country to help rebuild and even possibly govern Gaza once it's all said and done. This is honestly probably bigger than the Abraham Accords that Trump got done in his first term, although that was historic in its own right because for the longest time, all of the predominantly Muslim countries have had beef with Israel and, kind of vice versa. So maybe the end of the whole Israel-Gaza conflict can finally come. Maybe it can finally be put to rest. But in my opinion, and if you're a evangelical Christian watching this, you need to listen up here. To really end the tensions, the government of Israel needs to be reined in. Because let's not forget that Benjamin Netanyahu propped up Hamas in the early 2000s to use as a puppet government of sorts, but it got out of hand, obviously. Similar to how the U.S. did with the Mujahideen in the 70s and 80s to fight the Soviet Union, and that eventually became, other terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. So, yeah. And also, let's not forget that before the whole October 7th attack on Israel from Hamas, Benjamin Netanyahu was almost ousted as prime minister because he was trying to basically upend the court system there and would give him just essentially complete reign of the country. So Netanyahu, I think, needs to be voted out because he's been their leader for way too long, and that's something I love about the U.S. Constitution, is that it states that a president cannot be president more than 8 years total. So maybe Israel needs something like that too. I don't know. On the topic of Muslim terrorists, an Afghan asylum seeker in Munich, Germany, ran into a crowd while driving a Mini Cooper, injuring about 30 people. I am not sure if there have been any deaths because of this. This just happened, this past week. This is all the information I have at the time. But as we've been seeing all across Europe, things like this are happening a little more frequently than they actually need to. The UK is trying to ban sharp-tipped knives and wants all knives to be blunted on the ends because of how many stabbings they have. Maybe instead of having gun control and knife control and all this stuff, maybe don't bring literal fucking barbarians into your country and terrorist attacks won't happen. Just saying. Alright, last thing here, and I just learned about this yesterday, so I might keep my eyes on this going forward. A man named Yoel Alter was arrested in Guatemala on accusations of child abuse and human trafficking. Alter is, quote, a prominent leader of the ultra Orthodox Jewish cult Lev Tahor, end quote, according to website Turkey Today. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I'll leave the link below if you want to read it. This sicko was also requested for extradition to Mexico, where he will face the court system there. Apparently, this cult, Lev Tahor, was founded in 1988 and has been scrutinized for many serious crimes, including the child abuse, human trafficking, and forced marriages of minors. According to the website mentioned here, this cult has been operating in Mexico and Guatemala since 2014. So hopefully, when this guy's apprehended, if there are other leaders of this cult, which there probably are, hopefully the whole damn cult can be shut down going forward. I would like to see that happen because that is absolutely sick. I don't care who you are. And that's all I got for this week, everybody. If you've watched this far, thank you for sticking with me between my nasally nose and the background noise of the train. And like I said up top, let me know your thoughts down below. Share this with the normies in your life, and follow me on Rumble because I would like to see Rumble grow. But if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. It is much appreciated as well. With that being said, thank you guys. Take care, and I will see you all next week.